Now, nearly 3 million people in the UK would benefit from receiving eye care in their own home, yet less than a quarter of such home visits were made by an optometrist. That's a claim this morning from Specsavers, the UK's biggest chain of opticians, which is campaigning for a change in the rules to enable more people to benefit from home visits. Well, joining me now is the founder of Specsavers, Dame Mary Perkins. Dame Mary, good to see you this morning. The current rules require a so-called pre-visit notification before eye tests are carried out on people who can't leave their home. Why is that?
I've no idea why they're doing it, but it's a little bit of a barrier, because if I want to visit somebody in their own home and they know I'm coming and they know the name, they know the optometrist, it's a 48-hour pre-notification permission that's needed. And if I need to go to a care home and see more than one person, you're up to sort of 3 weeks waiting for this notification permission to actually go and see somebody in that care home. It never used to be like that, so I'm not sure what the ruling is, but it's a little bit of a barrier to going to visit people who are unable to access the eye care that they're entitled to. And I have to say, it only happens in England. Wales and Scotland have dropped these requirements. So please, England, would you drop it? It's a little bit of an extra work and a bit of a barrier there for going in to give the essential eye care for people.
And just to pick up on something you said there, Dame Mary, it can take up to 3 weeks to obtain one of these permits.
Into a care home where you may need to see more than one person. If you were going into a care home, you'd probably see 3 or 4 or maybe 5 people in the day. So that's a little bit of a length of time. I don't see what the requirement is. Scotland and Wales are not doing it, so why England are doing it, I'm not too sure. But it's a bit of a barrier. But we mentioned the numbers of people who are waiting to have their eye health checked in their own home for whatever reason. They're unable to visit a high street opticians, and they deserve the same treatment as anybody else. So we don't want barriers there. Absolutely.
I mean, who does one have to obtain these permits from?
Well, it's a government type thing in conjunction with the General Optical Council. So it's a little bit of a tick box affair, which I think could be dropped. That's one barrier. But of course, the other barrier is people not knowing that they're entitled to eye care in their own home if they're unable to get out into the high street.
Absolutely. Now, you've been running these home visits for 10 years now. What proportion of your sales do they make up?
Do you know, I don't know that. It's all on the National Health, so I've not actually separated it out. I'm not so much saying a proportion of what it is. My problem is we need to see these people who are entitled to eye care, particularly the elderly. There's so many eye conditions that can be helped as you're getting older, spotted early on. So it's not just a matter of buying a pair of glasses, it's a matter of looking after the eye health and doing something about it for what people are entitled to. That's the main thing. So that's why I haven't got the figures to tell you, because it's not so much figures, it's the matter of looking after people and giving them what they're entitled to on the health side.
That's fair enough. I mean, when do people's eye... Is it possible to say typically when someone's eye health would deteriorate? At what sort of age it becomes a more pronounced effect?
Well, obviously, the things that people have heard about, so I won't go through a whole load of medical problems, but people have heard about cataracts, people have heard about glaucoma. For instance, glaucoma, that's to do with the pressure in the eye. This can be tested with a highly qualified optometrist in your own home, and if that is not right, it can be put right. If it's left, then you will lose your vision, which cannot be reversed. It's little things like that. I've used two things that people might be aware of without going into detail of everything. But eye care is very important as you get older. If you don't have your vision, you're liable to fall over maybe. Those figures are well documented by Age UK and their report. Little things like that, people turning up in A&E where they've fallen over, have to be put into hospital because their vision is not correct. Something has happened there. So They deserve the same equality as all of us watching in now. We can walk into a high street opticians, into Specsavers, have our eyes looked at. You need that if you're isolated in your home for whatever reason. We tend to think of the elderly, but of course it's right across all age groups. There are younger people who are unable to leave their home for some disability or other, and that's important as well, that they're treated the same as well.
Absolutely. Well, best of luck with the campaign, Dame Mary, and thanks for joining me today. It's good to talk to you.
Oh, thank you. Get your...
Still to come here on Business Live. We'll have